Good morning, everybody. Here we are at Daniel's Den again, and it's Sunday. And yes, it's Easter Sunday, but I'm not wearing my Easter hat. I'm wearing a different hat, which I'll tell you about in a moment. But on Sundays, our sessions are aimed at our parents and carers, and we're going through a series of our parenting postcards, and today the theme is the need for love, our postcard parenting number 4. And it says our children need to know we love them unconditionally. They need to know we love them for being them. I don't know what your childhood was like, but my childhood was amazing. I grew up on a little sheep farm in North Yorkshire, and my mum and dad worked very, very hard. We were tenant farmers, and money was very, very, very tight. And we didn't go on any fancy holidays, didn't go and stay in a hotel. Our idea of a great day out was to go to Scarborough and have fish and chips in the newspaper. But you know, our home was absolutely overflowing with love. And I'm wearing this cap today because it belonged to my dad. And my dad used to work for a company called Macmin, and he used to sell feed stuff, and he used to love it. And he was a real good salesman. He loved it on the phone. And my brother said he didn't know how my dad would cope with his social isolation because he was a people person. And I know that my dad has passed on so much to me as my mum has. And I'm wearing this cap today because 12 years ago, this weekend, my dad died very, very suddenly, just dropped dead of a heart attack. And it was a great sadness and really sad. But you know what? In the midst of all the pain and sorrow of losing my dad, one thing that I've learned to do is to treasure the memories. And I have so many memories of my parents. My mum's still alive and she's fantastic, but my mum and dad really showed to me how to love their children unconditionally. And that's what we need to do to our children. And sometimes it's easier said than done. It says on here, we won't always like what they do, but we need to show them that we always love and accept them. And when I was thinking about this postcard, I was thinking of some exasperating times with my parents. And they continue to love me, even when I spilt a bucket of milk on the new carpet in the living room. My dad would milk the cow every day, and one day I spilled the whole bucketful on the carpet. Another time we'd been strawberry picking and it rained, and I was carrying this big box of strawberries across the yard, and the handle fell off and these strawberries landed in the grit and the muck of a farmyard. They still love me. They still loved me when my mum was washing up in the back kitchen and she saw 1, 2, 3, 4 heads appear above the cowshed, and myself and my brothers and my next door neighbour Jill had somehow managed to crawl onto the top of the shed roof. And I never ever fully understood why we were all marched down, put in the bath and put to bed as punishment for climbing on the shed roof. I could never understand why my mum and dad were so cross. But yet when I became a parent, I suddenly realised, my gosh, what it is to love our children and how we want the best for our children. And when we see bad things happen, you know, we really panic. I always say when we give birth to our children, we not only give birth to such a joyous baby, but we also give birth to worry and guilt. I think worry and guilt are two things as a parent that we have, but we have to sort of deal with that. But this thing about loving our children, that our children need our love, but we also need our love, and your experience may not quite have been the same. And our hope and prayer would be that you're able to talk to people about that. And if you ever need to talk about that, do let us know. Anyhow, it says a good definition of love is wanting the best for. And I know that you will want the best for your children as I want the best for my children. And how can we show love? We talked about this last time in Postcard Parenting 3. Lots of hugs and cuddles, smiles and eye contact, talking and listening to your child, reading stories and singing together. Well, with this lockdown, there's so much time for that and so much more. But it's tuning into the love language, isn't it? My mum and dad, well, my dad was quite huggy, but my family are not necessarily such a physical family. I am, but they're not. But my gosh, they show it through kind deeds and through time. And there's hardly anything that they wouldn't do to help or to support me. And I know for my children, again, that showing my love to them, whether it's a little text, whether it's a phone call, whether it's making some special food, showing our love for our children, it's so important. And on our card, it says things to think about. Each day is a new day to show your child that they are loved and accepted. I wonder what you could do for your child today. I'm thinking, what could I do for my 3 children today to show them that they are loved and accepted? Maybe I will write that letter to my daughter in Sheffield. Maybe I will send a photo to Josh and just say how proud I am of him. And as for Rihanna, well, even though she's trying to watch her way to not eat too much, I know baking her special jam buns, she'll be really happy about that. But just make 1 tray, Mum, not too many. I find it really hard just to make a small amount. But again, some things to do. Have a story time together, singing time, enjoy a cuddle. You will have things that you do, and why don't you write a little list of the things that you could do to show love to your children? Because sometimes it's hard, isn't it? And I don't know how you're finding it with the lockdown. How many times have you lost it? I think I've probably had 2 or 3 times when I've really just lost it a little bit with my child that I'm living with at the moment. And you know, children sometimes do lash out like we lash out. And on here, we acknowledge that at the back of this card, because you may never have heard these words, but you may hear them, and it's knowing what to do with them. And it says, if your child says, I hate you, try and say, I will always love you. There's another card that talks about the power of words. But sometimes our children may say things like, I hate you. I know that my children, they've been through trauma, and at times that they have said that, I hate you. And I remember once when I was a child packing my bag and walking up a field towards the gate to say I was leaving home, that I think in families we do have times of tension and challenge. But that thing about loving unconditionally is just so, so important. And, you know, we express loves in lots of ways at Daniel's Den. And I always say to people, I want people to feel the love of Christ in a language they understand. So Daniel's Den is a Christian charity, but as you know, everybody is welcome. They always will be. The unconditional welcome we give is so, so important. But one of the things that we say is that we want people to experience the love of God in a language that they understand. We want them to see it with the smiles, with the way that the room is set out, that it will be a welcoming and inviting people. So we want them to see it. We want them to feel it. And it may be a hug. I'm really missing hugging people as they come into Daniel's Den, or just touching somebody on their arm, or just making them feel that welcome. And again, that tasting the love, that cup of tea that somebody makes you, or maybe if somebody's made a cake and there's cake to share, it's showing love and feeling it. And hearing love. Hello, how are you? How are you feeling today? Are you sleeping any better? How's the teething going on? Oh, I really like the way that your little one is playing with that car in that garage. There are lots and lots of ways in which we can show love to you through Daniel's Den, and we hope that you feel that love through the touch, the taste, what you see, and also what you smell. Now, I know that some of our venues don't smell that great, And we've met in some really challenging venues where people have said, I can't believe that people come. And I know that a lot of people don't come to Daniel's Den for the posh building or the fresh coffee. We don't have fresh coffee. That's something we don't have. But they come because they know there's something in the atmosphere that's different, that they can smell it. I know that we used to have a parent, Rosemary, and she used to say, oh, there's something different about this place. And I would like to think that that was God's love that she felt in that place. That love is something that you experience, and it's not about the poshest toy or the new clothes or the holiday. It's about spending time. As we said last time, the children spell love T-I-M-E. So don't worry if you've lost it. Don't worry if you're finding it hard. Today is a new day, and we can think of ways in which we can show love. And at Daniel's Den, there's always a little bit of an explanation of what we do, why we do certain things. And it says on this card, Parenting Postcard 4, at Daniel's Den, the Parney song is a great way of having a cosy hug and cuddle with your child. I love that word, huggle. It really sums it up, doesn't it? But actually holding our children close and giving them a hug is so important. And I'm wearing my dad's cap. He always loved a cap. His cap was the answer to many a problem. He would carry eggs in his cap. He'd wipe things down with a cap, and he would, the things he wouldn't do with a cap. But I'm wearing it in tribute to him, knowing that the love that I experienced as a child, I now pass on to my children. And so, yes, so that's our summary. If you had a challenging childhood, I know lots of people have had, and if you ever need to talk about it, we are here to chat. And I know that lots of you are doing a fantastic job. I think what I observe in the Daniel's Den sessions is brilliant, and I love what you do. So if you've never heard it before, you are loved, and you are the best parent for your child. So thank you for listening to our Parenting Postcard session 4, and hopefully see you next time. So bye.